Hello, everyone, and welcome to Politics Us All, Episode 2. So welcome to Politics Us All, Episode 2. A couple of things we're talking about today. Gigs on boats. Slipknot have just announced that they are doing the first ever Knotfest at sea. We'll talk about that very briefly in a sec. I want to talk about the new wave of bands. There's some amazing bands out there that are all coming out of the woodwork, and it's a really exciting time for metal at the moment. Rage Against the Machine and bands reforming. But before we kick all of that off, let's talk about new music and things that have come out this week. Well, this month. Starting off with Norma Jean have a new album out called All Hail. Complete transparency again, I listened to it on the way here. I had a really good time. I loved it.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I kind of forget what they used to be when I hear this sort of stuff because they've gone through like a few iterations, I think. Mm-hmm. I like the early Norma Jean of the kind of camp vocals. Do you remember?
It was scene music.
It was proper like MySpace scene music, isn't it? But they've kind of like carried on throughout the years and become this really fucking solid kind of post-hardcore metalcore sort of thing. I think the songwriting is really, really good. I think they're better than most other bands who are doing it in this genre.
Yep.
Agreed. Yeah, it's just a really good.
Is it a
really
whole
good,
new?
solid.
Is it a whole new lineup?
I don't know. I don't know who he's in Norma Jean. Like, I don't know what they are.
I know the
anymore.
original vocalist is obviously
He left a long
because he was
time
in
ago.
Chariots as well.
He was in Chariots. Yeah,
right.
Josh
Chariot are
Josh
Josh
something.
something,
good.
Josh something.
So
The Chariot. The Chariot are amazing.
how many? Which members do they share? Because I feel like when I listen to
It was just
Long Live the
vocals.
Chariot,
just the vocalist.
Yeah, it was just
okay.
it was just
Yeah.
a vocalist.
okay,
But yeah, Norma Jean have become this kind of
Chariot's
I don't
so
know.
good. Sorry,
The Chariot incredible.
They're
Yeah,
so
they're
good.
better than Norma Jean.
yeah.
Let's just talk about Chariots.
So Norma Jean, All Hail. So I saw Norma Jean support In Flames in July of this year. I haven't listened to Norma Jean since Bless the Martyr, Bless the Child, or
Kiss
whatever
the
it is.
Child.
Kiss the Child.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is really great. And obviously I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get in there early and not like hang out by the bar like a dork and actually go in and make sure I see them play Memphis. They did not play Memphis.
I can't imagine they ever do.
Really?
Why
Because
not? It's
it's
so good.
No, but it's such a
It's
like a
not
whole
them.
different.
It's not them.
That's a whole
now.
different Norma Jean, I think,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
That's what I mean when I say like when I hear Norma Jean now, I can't put it into context with anything they've done before because I don't know, it just sounds like a whole different thing.
But if you've got a crowd dance song like Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste in your locker, why not?
But if it's a whole new lineup, then it's kind of like, maybe we don't want to play that. They wrote that song 15 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, fair
probably
enough.
more than that.
But the new album's really good. There are moments in it where I'm a little bit. There's a few like whoas in there and stuff, and I'm like,
They're definitely doing the whole more commercial thing.
but it's working. There's enough heavy in there,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think but it's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Sounds great. I wasn't into it. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
No. Not,
What was missing?
Not my cup of. It's just general overall. I don't think you could add anything that would make me be like, oh, now I want to listen to this.
yeah.
It's just not for me.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I think that whole kind of metalcore sound isn't your
Yeah,
bag.
it's not
So
my
like the
thing.
more modern metalcore
Yeah.
sound isn't so your bag,
it's not.
is it?
But
To
it
that-
sounded good.
Yeah.
Like
Other new releases. Immure, Pig's Ear.
This is
manure.
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 That would be apt.
Whoa.
Emil, yeah, I checked this out just for the kind of whole, just curiosity thing, I think.
Yeah.
But it's not good. It's very industrial sounding. When I first went, I was like, this is okay, and then by the end of the track, I was like, yeah, this is pretty awful. I've got no time for this sort of stuff. I think the kind of yeah, and we were just watching some old music videos, weren't we?
Yeah.
The kind of meatheadiness about it's just not.
I've got no time for the macho tough guy thing.
I think I did at one stage in my life.
Yeah.
I used to love
There was a time-
Hatebreed,
there was a
all
time
that sort
for
of
it.
thing. But this whole kind of rude boy macho thing, I'm just
I'm talking about things that they do well. They do some really, really crushing breakdowns.
Yeah, they're heavy as hell.
Yeah.
Like some of the production on their albums is like so fucking heavy, and their breakdowns are amazing.
Yeah.
If you want that sort of thing,
Yeah, if that's
Yeah.
your bag of,
yeah.
if that's your cup of tea, then.
But yeah, this new track I heard, I was just, I've got no time for this. Let's move on.
Yeah, I was the
That's fine.
same.
Yeah.
I was the same.
Cool.
And in that case, let's move on.
Okay. See you later, Space. Sorry.
See-
See you later, Space Cowboy.
See you later.
Sorry, they're actually called See You Space Cowboy, and the album is called Correlation Between Entrance and Exit Wounds.
Now this is interesting because they are literally taking like a whole sound that's been kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
And just full on replicating it in 2019 with nothing new added to it at all.
2002 to 2006
Yeah.
scene,
MySpace scene
metalcore.
And they've literally just 15 years later or whatever, just totally brought
Yeah.
it back.
Now, I'd never heard of them And when you put it on the playlist, I was literally like, "This is 15 years too late."
Yeah,
But that's the point.
that's the point. Yeah, it's weird. It's like
And I
this
don't know
whole
how
revival.
I don't know how I
thing
feel
they're
about
doing.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to it and I enjoy it, but I think is that more just a nostalgia thing?
For sure.
Could be.
Because
Sure.
like all,
I didn't dig
every
it.
single riff,
I found it irritating. I found
every
it
single
irritating.
riff that are on their songs could be lifted from any band
Oh yeah.
in that whole era back in the day.
Chug chug off note.
Yeah,
Done.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are and there are bands that are doing that will come to bands that Knock Loose that are doing that in a pretty interesting way.
We're
Not
going to come on
interesting
to
way,
them in a
but
second.
in a kind of more, I don't know, not authentic, but more. Yeah, we'll come to it. But yeah, this Sea Space Cowboy, they're good for a good few minutes of nostalgia.
But I think they're doing quite well. I
They're
think
doing
I
quite
think
well. Yeah, I
that,
saw
you
I
know-
saw some live videos of them playing. Like they look really solid live. People seem to be really digging it.
How old are they?
I don't know,
Are they our
late
age?
20s, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, funny that they're just bringing back a whole kind of forgotten sound.
Yeah.
They must be our age because they're playing into a sound of
Yeah.
what we grew up and
Because you wouldn't
loved.
be late teens, early 20s to think I'm going to go back to 2006 metalcore.
You know what everyone
'Cause-
really needs? This.
Yeah, like no one asked for this sound to come back,
No.
and they've just done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like aesthetically, it's different to Knock Loose because Knock Loose are like kind of more, I don't know, skateboard kids, I guess, baggy clothes. Where Sea Space Cowboy, they're like youth large.
Oh, have they gone for
t-shirts.
the? Have they gone for the look?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh.
Large t-shirt.
They've gone
Yeah,
for the
like,
look as well.
the tight jeans.
right?
I think so. Yeah,
Damn.
I think so. Which is like
I mean, if you're going
they're bringing back like
do it,
a forgotten sound and also like a forgotten
look.
look as well.
bring it back.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've got a lot of time for that. It might not be what I want to listen to, but if you love that genre of music so much that you
Hey.
start a band and go and do it,
Yeah.
fair play to
More
you.
power. Yeah, just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, great.
Funny how things just come around in cycles, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it might not actually.
It might
It's-
not.
it's
It might just be
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I think it's
probably just
I
them.
don't think it will come back around. Well, there'll be. I think bands will take things from it, like Knock Loose, who we'll go on to now.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the way forward.
Yeah.
Knock Loose, a different shade of blue.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
It's fucking brilliant. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, big time. I'd never really listened to them before, and then
I mean, I feel like they're kind of building like a whole movement at the moment of like really, really disgustingly heavy, like kind of simple, but just like a lot of body to it.
it was visceral.
Like, it's really visceral. That's a really good word. Really visceral.
It sounded believable and
Yeah.
real, and I was like, damn, this guy's pissed off about something.
Yeah.
And like the music was so heavy.
It's bands like them and like bands like Turnstile as well.
Mm.
Turnstile amazing. They're just like they're really building like a proper cult following that is kind of like, the music's not that interesting, but there's something about them
Yeah.
that is making people
It's-
really
it's
take
authentic,
notice.
I think.
Yeah, there's something really authentic about it.
And I can't put my finger on what it is.
Because there's so many bands that do that sound that get absolutely nowhere. So
Yeah.
what is it about bands like Knock Loose that is really kind of touching people?
I think they just do heavy. The breakdowns. I don't know how they're timing them, but they just when they drop, it's wow.
But that's like I was saying the other day. Like I had the album on, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm done now. Maybe I'll change it. And then a breakdown happened. I was like, damn, I want to keep listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it would get lower and slower, and I was like, damn. You think it can't get any like lower, and then they just turn it down again.
Yeah.
It-
And I
was
think
enjoyable.
I think it's bands like Code Orange that have allowed bands like this to start flourishing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Because-
so this is actually the next topic we're actually talking about is the current wave of like new bands.
Well,
and,
let's
like,
do that
music.
now.
So yeah. So I mean,
Wow.
but this is
Natural
so
progression.
I was going to
Segments.
ask you, do you think Knock Loose are we were talking about they were leading this kind of new sound, and then you've got Code Orange, who I would have thought are really they're being the gateway in. Obviously, they're touring with Slipknot and they've done all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So is it them and like Behemoth are doing it for black metal as well?
Yeah.
Like as the new in the day to day people hanging out who are much younger than us. Hearing those bands and then checking out other bands because of it. I mean,
Yeah.
do you think Knock Loose is doing that, or do you think Code Orange is doing that, or like
I
who was
think-
first?
Well, I think Code Orange are definitely first, but
Yeah,
Code,
for
Code
sure.
but the thing is, the difference between Code Orange and Knock Loose is that Code Orange have really kind of built their own sound because they're really heavily industrial. Their whole look is kind of very different. Knock Loose are a lot more simple,
Yeah,
but there's just something in the delivery of their music that I think is really connecting with people. But I think just that whole kind of like metalcore rebirth that Code Orange have brought in, I think has allowed bands like Knock Loose to flourish.
Yeah.
I do think that. But let's not forget these bands have been around for like a long time. I mean, it's not like a new sound. It's not like a new
for sure.
movement.
No.
It's just they're really, but people are really just starting to take notice of it now. I think
yeah. Like when did My World come out?
like a long time ago,
Yeah,
like
it's-
years ago.
and it's
And they used to be called like
so
Code
good.
Orange Kids back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they've been around.
That's
a
how
long-
I knew them. And
Yeah,
then,
they were a hardcore band, and they
Yeah.
kind of never really got anywhere. And then, Yeah, Code Orange is just
Now
incredible.
they're a whole different beast.
They're like a massive beast. Yeah.
So you've got Code Orange doing it in that area, Knock Loose doing the really, really heavy sound. Then you've got Power Trip are kind of leading this wave of new thrash bands.
Yeah.
And so I was reading a review of a band called Plague Years, I love them. I think they're really, really good.
Been heavy on the playlist this week.
Yeah. Guys, we keep talking about this playlist. This is, if you search for Pod Hates Us All on Spotify, you can find a playlist of each week of all the songs that we are banging on about and talking about. So if you want to check them out,
And we'll share the playlist link as well.
yeah, we'll share
in the description.
Yep. And if you want to check it out and tell us that you think we're full of shit, then go for it. And you can also drop us an email on podhatesusall@gmail.com. So anyway, Power Trip leading this new revival of thrash. It's working.
Did it ever go away?
Good point. Toxic Holocaust have been
Yeah,
going
I
strong
guess
for years.
it never went
You got
away.
Municipal Waste.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
that's a
yeah,
bit of a
great.
different thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Because they're like less serious than
Yeah.
bands like Power Trip, I guess.
And-
But no, I think bands like Power Trip are making people take notice of thrash again. Because like all these different subgenres of metal kind of ebb and flow, don't they? Like metalcore's kind of coming back, like we we're just speaking about. Thrash metal's been coming back, but as you're right, they never really went away. Like bands have been doing thrash like forever.
Yeah.
But I think every now and then a band like Power Trip come out that are so fucking solid and so good. I think they start to inspire other bands to do that sort of
and
thing.
different
like Plague
scenes
Years,
take
who sound like
notice.
very, very similar to Power Trip.
Yeah.
Different scenes take notice as well. Like
Yeah.
a lot of hardcore kids love Power Trip.
Yeah.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Whereas like back in the day, hardcore kids hated thrash.
Yeah.
And it was just like
Well,
I think it shows-
not all hardcore
Well,
kids.
well, if you think about the Anthrax, like the 80s, you had Anthrax. So I was reading Scott Ian's book, and he talks about the early days, and there was like hip hop kids and hardcore kids and thrash kids, and you would like people just get into fights because like so there are a few bands that really divided everyone. So Misfits would have like hardcore kids and then like punk kids like going out, and there would be loads of fights at their shows because there's like the two different worlds coming together.
Yeah.
And there's like the thrash kids that love hardcore. So there's like DRI, like really early thrash
Yeah, I
band, like
remember
really,
DRI, yeah. What does that stand for?
Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, maybe.
I can't remember.
Because they got Dirty Rotten CD as one of their albums.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. Maybe DRI stands for something else. Anyway, Power Trip. So Power Trip, you've also got Plague Years, and I was reading that Plague Years review, and it was, yeah, they're a real Power Trip-alike thing, and instantly that crushes it for that band because it's.
I didn't think they sounded the same.
Yeah, good.
Really.
I think the
Good for
vocals
them.
set them apart a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think their riff structures and stuff are really similar to Power Trip. But that's not a bad thing. But it's funny how we're talking about like Power Trip inspiring these bands.
They definitely weren't inspired by the. Yeah, they were probably doing thrash anyway. And
Yeah, exactly. But like Power Trip are just, they're not doing anything new. Again, it's just in the delivery of
Yeah,
it, isn't
for
it?
sure.
It's like Power Trip are doing a sound that's been existed for so long, but they've
Yeah.
done it in such a way, delivered it in such a way that is like really believable, really authentic, that just really makes people stand up and take notice. Because there's a million thrash bands out there that you just wouldn't care about. But then Power Trip come along and just like make people really stand up and take notice.
So you got Plague Years, fantastic band.
Yeah.
Creeping Death,
Creeping Death, very, very good
Dig
band.
it. Dig it.
another contender for album of the year, maybe 2019.
I mean, possibly.
It's
Possibly.
a
I've not
great
done the whole album yet. I've only
Really?
heard a couple of tracks that I think you put on the playlist, but
Yeah, definitely get involved in that because Creeping Death is delicious. Little bit bait with their name.
Yeah, I was going to say, like you said the other day.
yeah,
it's-
I mean that name is just
like you said, you might
yeah.
as well call it Master of Puppets or,
yeah.
or just Metallica 2.
But yeah, band name aside, really fucking good.
I think it does work though. Creeping Death is a like horrible enough name. They don't
Yeah.
sound like Metallica either. I mean,
Exactly. If they came out sounding like Metallica, that would be
Then
really
you've got-
embarrassing.
yeah.
Every
Just
song, just
stop
Creeping
it.
Death.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got Fuming Mouth. When I first heard Fuming Mouth this year, I really thought like this reminds me a lot of Code Orange, and I dig it. But when you watch videos of Fuming Mouth, you like they feel like I mean they are their own beast. I feel like I'm doing them a disservice by comparing them too heavily to other bands. Like I feel that review was doing Plague Years a disservice by saying that they sound like Power Trip. I think
Yeah.
that's massively unfair on those bands who
Yeah.
have done their own thing.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So there's been some huge reunions this year. My Chemical Romance, which I don't particularly give two fucks about. I
Me
don't know.
neither.
Yeah.
No, I don't, but there's a lot of people out there.
That
They
do.
do. I mean, that's
It's a big. It's a big deal
pumped
to a
on
lot
that.
of people.
Yeah.
It's a really big deal.
But I mean, have you seen, what's he called, Gerard Way?
Gerard Way.
I mean, he is like a big old nerd now.
Is he?
He writes comic book.
Oh, he wrote that the Umbrella Academy or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's,
Which is kind. I mean, I haven't watched it, but it's like sick that he's doing that. It's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
cool. but like,
I love that he's
I-
so creative that he's written.
yeah, for sure.
You can't lie that they've got some great songs, My Chemical Romance.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
I mean, yeah,
the Black Parade is
The Black
the
Parade is-
Bohemian Rhapsody of our generation.
I'd agree with that. I think that's
Yeah.
100% correct.
it's a good bold claim, but it's
Yeah.
probably true.
Much more interesting to the three of us is Rage Against the Machine getting back together.
I was never into them massively, but I can appreciate it, and it's
Definitely.
definitely more exciting than My Chemical Romance.
Do you know the best Rage Against the Machine thing I've seen recently
What's that?
was a Denzel Curry cover of Balls on Parade by Rage Against the
Oh,
Machine.
yeah,
I
I
sent
saw
that to you, I
that.
think.
I saw that.
What a cover.
I
Yeah,
did the whole,
that was
this is
cool.
cool, but I didn't actually watch it.
Oh, man.
Oh,
I do that so much. I'm so
unseen.
You've got
sorry.
some homework to do. That cover is like one of the, because there's so many bands that have covered Rage, kind of been a bit cringe about the whole thing. And then Denzel Curry, obviously like a
well,
rapper,
Frank
comes in.
Carter did one, didn't he?
Did
He
he?
came
Did
out
he?
on stage with Rage.
Prophets of
didn't
Rage.
he?
Oh,
Yeah,
Prophets of
so
Rage,
he
yeah.
came out
Prophets
and
of
they
Rage,
did.
yeah. Prophets of Rage are poor.
Yeah, not.
I've heard
don't
like three or
dig it.
four
Don't dig it.
songs, and I just do not dig it at all. But yeah, go listen to
do,
that. Go watch
um,
that Denzel Curry cover.
I do love that
amazing.
Chuck D and Be Real are really into metal. I think that's really fun
Yeah.
Yeah.
as a thing. And obviously, there's that terrible song on Fear Factory's Digimortal, Back the Fuck Up. which
Oh,
is
yeah.
like- and it's do you
I listened to
remember?
I don't
Digimortal
know
the
it.
other day, actually.
Digimortal is an album I could
Linchpin,
happily
what a banger.
forget. It's a forgettable. Invisible Wounds, the song after Linchpin is really great
Yeah.
as well. But that is an album that I'd like to forget quite quickly. But that Be Real song on that is Be Real with Fear Factory, and it's abhorrent.
It's really bad.
Damn.
I think I remember probably thinking it was cool as a teenager.
I definitely thought it was cool when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, now, not so much.
One of those things that has aged so poorly.
Yeah. And I feel like Prophets of Rage, I don't know, because they sold out huge venues.
People wanted to see it.
Yeah.
So Prophets of Rage have ceased to exist now, I
Yeah.
think, with the reformation of
It'd be
Rage.
But I
It'd
don't
be
think
stupid
they're
to
actually
do it.
reforming. I think it's just,
Is it just a
few
one-off?
shows.
Oh, it's a tour, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's a tour.
I think it's like sort of to do with the whole shit that's
Chile.
going down with Chile as well.
Okay.
Never
But
really
they're not going to do new music, are they? They're just going to come
No,
out and
yeah.
play
Well, I
King
think
in
it'd
their
be a
name.
mistake if you did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because so part of this topic, the reason this is in here in our like kind of plan is talking about reunions and bands reuniting when it's a good thing and when
Yeah.
maybe it's not so much. So Rage, I think, is a good thing, and if they're tying it into the Chile thing that's going on at the moment, then great. Like good,
And keep
good
it short and sweet. Do a few shows and
And-
then fuck off.
Yeah, basically.
And if they did a new album, I think I'd be a bit upset. Maybe I don't know. Actually, maybe
I wouldn't
I
mind
wouldn't-
hearing like a one-off new
I'd
song.
hear it.
That would be cool.
I'd be
interested.
very curious.
Yeah.
Not curious. I'd be very apprehensive about a full album
Yeah,
by Rage.
It's just not needed.
It's not
one of those
needed.
things that's not needed.
Yeah,
because you've got that 4 album catalog that is
just brilliant.
perfect.
Yeah,
It's perfect. You can't.
I re-listened to a load of Rage this week actually, and I really enjoyed it.
Like Evil Empire, because so one of my gateway albums into being a Day Little Grebo was Battle of LA, really good, great album. And obviously like Tony Hawk's 2
Yeah.
soundtrack got everyone into
Yeah,
Guerrilla
yeah.
Radio
Ding,
and stuff.
ding, 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 ding,
So
ding.
good. But yeah, Evil Empire stands out so well still
Yeah.
now. Really, it's untouchable still. And Renegades is a fantastic.
That's the one I've
album
listened to
cover.
the least, Renegades. but,
I think it's my favorite. It's an album of covers, but I think it's
Yeah.
actually my favorite.
Oh, is it?
Is it
I've
album
never
covers?
listened
I
to
didn't
it.
know that.
It's all,
Okay.
They're all rap songs.
Oh.
Well, it's got like How I Could Just Kill a Man by Cypress Hill on it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't know.
Maggie's Farm is Bob Dylan.
right.
I can't remember who did Microphone Fiend, but I love that song.
A microphone feed. I remember that song. Actually. Yeah.
But then maybe some instances where it's not such a good thing. Refused. I was a huge Refused fan. I still love The Shape of Punk to Come. I think it's an amazing piece. But when they reunited after the whole, they had that sort of mythical vibe of they were playing this show that got raided by the cops and were yelling "Refused are fucking dead," and that's
Right.
and that's the end of them. And I was like, that's a really cool legacy to leave behind. It's like,
Yeah.
and then you listen to
Swan song go out like that. It's
Yeah.
good.
I heard a couple of new Refuse songs, and I was like, "This is poor."
Boring.
Is it really? Is it bad?
Boring.
Because
It's quite poor. They just toured with Thrice, didn't they?
oh, of course it
They just done a co-headline with Thrice, which we missed sadly. But yeah,
I generally thought you were going to cry when you said that.
sadly. But yeah, the 2 new Refuse songs I heard were pretty below par, and when you compare it to their older work, it's a bit sad.
See, I was never really into them. I didn't really dig it. But yeah, the new stuff did nothing for me
No.
at all. I just don't think there's any need for them to reform.
But yeah, like other bands reforming, is it a good thing? Like,
Well,
It's a case by case, isn't it?
depends
I mean,
really, doesn't it?
some reformations you just know are just done for the money.
yeah.
System of a Down are an interesting one
Are they actually
because
doing anything?
I'm not sure if they're reforming, but they seem to come back and play a couple of festivals every now and then. But
Did
they never
they
release
split
any
up?
new music. I don't think they ever split
I
up.
think they had like big disagreements and
Did they?
differences. I think.
Right.
I don't really know. Too
But
much about
I just find it interesting when a band like that, they don't really send you new music. Yeah, every few summers they come and play Download or something, and it's like, why are you doing this? It's obviously just for the money. It has
It must
to
be
be.
fun. Like,
Yeah, but
It has to
but
be.
I think that's fine. If
Yeah.
if they're just going to come
Because
back,
they're going to
just
sell
do
tickets.
Yeah, and people fucking love System of a Down.
Yeah.
I would-
People
if
don't
someone-
care for the reasons
They're
behind
pure
the
festival
They
band
just,
as
yeah,
well. Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to think who else has done. Kiss reform every fucking 10 years.
well, for me, that is no need.
Yeah, that's
There's no-
that's
That's a pure money making machine. Though,
That
Kiss,
is
isn't
But
it?
kind
they've
of
got
a-
money. Surely they've got money.
They sell
regardless.
coffins,
You don't know
for
what-
Look at all
fuck's
that.
sake, like,
Yeah, that merchandise alone. It's just.
But that's a fucking slap in the face for fans like who've like they like really gone out.
You were. Well, I don't know if you still are.
You
I
went and
still
saw
don't-
Kiss
you were-
recently,
I
didn't you?
went to the Kiss End of the Road tour this year.
How was that?
I loved it. It was really good.
Yeah.
But I had seen Maiden not long before in the same place, and it was like actually no, it was a year before. But I was going back to it. It was the first time back at that venue since
What venue was it?
O2 London.
Oh, okay.
And it was my first time back there, and I thought, oh yeah, this would be great. And then, but just the stage show was cool, but it didn't touch the Maiden show. Oh shit! And I saw Rammstein this year as well, which I honestly think is the best live show.
I remember you losing
I
your
saw
shit.
pictures of it, and it looked mental.
I don't like the music. I would
mean,
love to see
I
them
can't
live.
stand their music, but
What's not to stand about it? It's so funny. It's not a bad thing. They're so good.
yeah, I mean, it looked like crazy industrial. It looked insane.
So there was a bit where they're playing, and there's like a lift at the back of the set. The set was ridiculously big, and there's a lift at the back, and the DJ got into the lift, and he went all the way up to like the top of the venue, and was like doing his decks and stuff, and it became like an industrial German techno rave.
Jesus.
And they all came out in like light up suits and were dancing like Kraftwerk, kind of taking the piss, and it was really funny.
Yeah. Right.
Then he came back down, and they all stood in the lift together and waved, and they got like lowered down into all the smoke, and you're like, oh, and it was like, oh, okay, for the encore. And then there was like a soundstage next to us, and they all climbed out of there, so they'd gone under the venue
Jeez.
That's amazing.
and appeared next to us on the left, and they've got a song called Engel, which is like, and they did a ballad version of that, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
And the lyrics all came up on the screen, and everyone was singing along, even though it's a song completely in German. Hundreds of thousands of people singing along. It was amazing. And then they were standing there, the song finished, everyone was clapping, and then you just heard this like psss, and these boats, these dinghies, inflated out of this soundstage, and they jumped in them and like in the boats and got crowd served back to the main stage in these boats, and it was ridiculous. And then when the first ones got there, the rest of them were there's like two of them.
How many members are there?
6.
Okay.
And there's 2 of them in a boat, and when the first boat landed, he got out and was holding up a sign saying like "Willkommen" in German, like greeting the other members of the band as they came out, and it was so ridiculous and German and insane.
Do they still do the big cock thing?
Yes, they did.
Damn.
For a
What's
song,
that?
A song called "Pussy."
They have a massive, like, how big is it?
It's huge. It's the size of this room. For people listening, it's
Yeah.
a big old dick.
And it cock. And does it shoot? Does it ejaculate?
Yeah, it does. It comes foam all over
Wow.
the crowd.
Yeah.
Which sounds pathetic, but it's actually really fun at the time.
Yeah.
And the song, I mean,
Spray me.
Quote you on that.
spray me.
Spray me, Rammstein.
Do people actually like Rammstein's music, or do they just go
I
to be
think it's
jizzed on
just-
by a big?
I don't know.
penis?
I know a few people that are like, they're like the best live band ever. It's like, yeah, but
It's just,
Their albums are great. Zen's
it's
good,
amazing what you can do with money.
exactly.
but their albums are good.
Are they though?
Yes,
Yeah.
the new album especially is incredible.
Right.
Sehnsucht is also really good. Mutter, you didn't have Mutter when you were growing up, and there's the fucking Snow White video on Kerrang.
No.
The only Rammstein song I liked was
John.
No. That was a
the
straight up,
Links
that
1,
was a
2, 3,
change the
4 with the
channel.
spiders.
Ants, but cool.
Ants.
Yeah.
Sorry, close
Yeah.
enough.
So,
I like that song, and that's as far as my Rammstein fandom goes.
So Slipknot have announced they are doing Knotfest on a boat for the first time. Motorhead had Motorhead's motorboat. Kiss do the Kiss cruise.
There's a Weezer cruise.
There's a Weezer cruise.
I think Weezer are one of the first bands to do this sort of
Possibly.
thing.
So
There was I'm sure 3 bands have just got together and done like a massive boat tour.
Really,
Can't remember. Kind of weird.
I guess it's
70,000
like it's a
Tons of
good
Metal
it's a
is
good
another one, isn't it?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. It's a good alternative to a festival. If you're, I think it probably attracts a bit of an older crowd. I think if you don't want to do the whole camping thing, then just go and get a cabin on a boat and watch Slipknot every night. Sounds good.
I'd
to be
love
honest.
that.
I'd love to go. It's probably really expensive.
How long is it?
Like
Megadeth
a week or
have
so.
the Mega Cruise.
Do they?
I think that maybe is what I was thinking of,
Yeah.
possibly.
How do we feel about gigs on boats?
Well, I've never been to one, but I would like to go.
I'd love to go. I mean,
You really think about it. What are you doing every day? So you probably wake up hungover, have a fry up, watch a band, have a swim.
but the swim is
Maybe
gonna
then
be
watch
full
another
of
band.
gross
Yeah, that's
metalheads.
very
Yeah.
true.
I mean, for me, it's a no.
It's
It's a straight up no.
what if you had a free ticket? Surely.
You would definitely
You-
go get a free ticket.
If there was a
no, depends where. If you're literally going around Southend,
Southampton,
like,
just like
yeah,
Just
Southampton
circling.
to Portsmouth, it's
Yeah.
like to see. I don't know.
I would definitely go. If the ticket was a few £100, I'd go. But I bet the ticket's like a grand upwards.
up there, probably
Probably,
ridiculous.
probably.
But you're probably food's included. You're probably treated quite well.
Yeah,
But,
just like a good holiday. And I wonder if you stop off and do other stuff for you there.
like an actual cruise.
Yeah.
so like you'd get off the boat and go.
I'd be more
Peruse
interested.
a market
I'd be
with
more
Corey
interested
Taylor.
in that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Getting
Because presumably on these cruises, the bands hang out with the fans. Surely.
don't know. No,
Well, you went kind of-
So.
otherwise,
No.
the bands are going to have the shittiest time. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Go and have a nice.
So
The
many
metal
little-
community is a bit different to like. I don't know. It feels like a pop star
Dude, think
based
how annoying
cruise.
some metal fans are.
Yeah.
They
I
get
mean,
so
metal fans are the
obsessive
worst,
as well.
aren't they?
Yeah, but also the
Yeah.
best.
Also the best.
I think
We
it-
hate no one.
Yeah. So gigs on boats. So no from John. It's a yes from me.
It's a yes from me.
Yeah.
Price dependent.
Yeah.
Package included.
Now on to the segment in the show, which is what we've been listening to.
So I've been listening to a band called Renounced, who are a Holy Raw Records band.
Good label.
Good
Great-
label,
great
great label, very solid UK label. Yeah, they're just doing a whole like kind of proper post-hardcore kind of Poison the Well, Hopesful kind of vibe revival thing. Really similar kind of music to stuff like Poison the Well's Opposite December. But they're still like really really good. Like as a standalone band, they're really really solid. Been really,
Are
really
they from the UK?
I think so. Yeah, they're from the UK. But I don't know. Again, it's just part of that kind of whole revival thing going on. I remember when we used to write guitar stuff, it was like literally ripping off all the
Oh,
old
yeah.
Hopesful chords,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Well, you'd write to be like a Trustkill band.
Yeah, basically.
that's
That's
what
what
you
everyone
do.
was trying to do back in those days, weren't
Yeah.
they? Yeah, it's mad how like influential labels were back then.
Yeah.
I think it's probably less of a thing now. I don't know. No, that's not
No.
true.
But you would get
That's
a
not true,
sampler
actually.
of a label, wouldn't you? And you listen
Yeah.
to all
It was
of
a
it.
different
Well, we were
time.
consuming music very differently then. Yeah,
was a
we were
different
literally
time.
finding bands from samplers,
Yeah.
which would come from record labels. So maybe
Yeah.
that's
I
why
got
they
into
were kind
Dillinger
of
Escape Plan because someone handed me a
Miss
two-
Machine,
Miss Machine
Miss
sampler
demo.
at Reading.
Calculating Infinity.
Yes.
At Reading.
And they played Reading that
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Fuck it, on the little side stage, Concrete
Yeah.
Jungle stage.
Yeah.
And it
Jungle
was
stage, yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
I've never seen a show like it, and it was
And then from that moment on, it was like, this band are the greatest band.
yeah,
Yeah.
what a band.
Unreal.
And, we have talked about Trustkill. We've only mentioned Poison the Well once, and when I think of Trustkill Records, I think of Poison.
I mean,
the Well.
that's the
Same.
go-to.
They are the go-to, aren't they? I went back and listened to You Come Before You the other day. My God.
What an album!
But that
Still
wasn't
incredible.
on Trustkill. That was
No, that's when they signed to Atlantic,
major.
wasn't
yeah.
it? Was
that
it
was a
Atlantic they
major.
signed?
Or was
Yeah.
it Warner?
Warner.
Could be
I think Atlantic is Warner, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
what an album.
Yeah, like for like a major label like album that was still
Yeah.
really heavy, but like in a different way to what their
Yeah.
previous stuff was.
It
Because
was- it
before
was
it was kind of really
incredible.
chuggy, riffy, and then I remember hearing You Come Before You for the first time and being a little bit confused by the whole thing because it was heavy but chord based quite a lot of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great, but I don't really get it because I'm used to like Opposite of December and Tear from the Red.
But then Tear from the Red,
Tear from the Red,
whichever
yeah.
it
Which
is.
one is it?
Who knows?
I never knew.
Who
I've
knows?
always, when I've seen it written down, I've always thought Tear from the Red.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, Tear is what I think of, but hey.
But aren't there the album cover is a tear, right? There's two things.
You're right. I think you've just nailed it. I think it's Tear from the Red.
So we've officially
So
got to
Have
the
we
bottom of
solved
it.
that?
about 20 years
Damn.
later.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Tear from the Red. Okay. But yeah, I mean, but that album was literally the bridge between the two. You could sort of see where they were going.
Yeah.
But
True.
You Come Before You was unreal.
And the latest stuff was really good, but
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe
I didn't-
maybe
I
we'd
didn't-
grown out of it a little by that point. That
I
kind
think
of-
they'd
don't know.
evolved though. They had it
Oh,
wasn't
Letter Thing, that album.
Yeah.
Versions.
versions.
That's the album. That album was incredible. That
Yeah.
was a
Was
it
really,
good?
really cool album.
Will I
Re-
like it if I go back?
I think so. I listened to it the
Maybe.
other day.
Maybe.
Letter Thing, the first track is amazing. It's quite a lo-fi recording, that album. It's really tinny.
I can't really remember, but you'd probably
Yeah.
listen to it and be like, "That was okay." I'm probably not going to listen to it again though.
But then I will just go and put on You Come Before You or Tear from the Red.
Yeah.
And be blown away.
Yeah.
And then Botchler will come on and you'll be like,
Oh.
oh yeah.
Oh, I could listen to Botchler right now.
Right now. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Is label as much as a pulling factor as it is now
That's a good point.
than it
Yeah.
was?
Because Evil Greed, like we were talking about last episode, about
Yeah.
how Evil Greed have got me into a load of new bands.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Are
full
they
of-
US based, Evil Greed? I think they are, aren't they?
they must be. I
Yeah, they
think
must
are.
be. Yeah.
But like, if they've got Bell Witch, Bell Witch, Gate Creeper,
Fuming Mouth.
Fuming Mouth,
Power Trip.
Power Trip, I think have stuff through there.
So, in a way, you kind of
I checked out other bands.
because
Yeah.
you know that they've got like
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, these bands.
It's
rule.
like Southern Lord, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a label I used to love. I don't
That's
really know what
true.
they're doing these days, actually.
Well, who was on that?
Southern Lord was like
Oh man, so many good bands.
Really?
like ISIS, not the terrorist group,
Yeah.
the amazing post metal band. Who else on Southern Lord? Like basically all the good
Yeah, but weren't
kind of
ISIS like Hydra Head?
stoner post metal. ISIS were Hydra Head, but they were also Southern Lord, I think, as
Oh,
well.
Okay.
Because Hydra Head is run by Aaron Turner
Turner.
from ISIS.
Yeah. Also
who's
Sumac
also Sumac and many other bands. He's
and
been
Old
in
Man Gloom.
Old Man Gloom. Bit of a
Basically,
legend.
like the post metal guy.
Yeah, but that was my point. Like of the kind of mid late noughties, Southern Lord were like the go to for
Yeah.
like anything post metal, doom, sludge
Sunno.
related, Sun, all those sorts
How
of
the
bands.
fuck do you say that band's name?
I say
It's
Sunno.
Sun. It's just Sun, I think.
Just
I
Sun.
think Sun's the official way of saying it.
Oh, close
Sun-
bracket, close bracket.
Parenthesis, parenthesis, parenthesis.
But yeah, these labels do still exist. I think these influential labels. Maybe we're just consuming them in a different way to what we used to.
Yeah, I
Because
think
you
that's
get
big
like a
part of
sample
it.
on a magazine and stuff like that, and whereas now you only re-
Terrorizer mag.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
Terrorizer.
Terrorizer. Also, a average grind band.
oh yeah, I remember them, Terrorizer.
It's the guy from is it David Vincent from Morbid Angel? The
Don't
guy
know.
from Morbid Angel left Morbid Angel. He was like the main member, and then he went and he's in Terrorizer. Terrorizer's still going.
Oh.
He's got a book coming out. True story
About?
Wow.
about him being.
Oh,
in
just
death
like
metal.
a-
Yeah, I wouldn't mind reading his book. I don't know if there'll be enough in it that's gonna grab me in and make me think
For a
this
whole
is-
Yeah.
book
yeah,
length.
for a whole book.
Page
Yeah.
2, I'm bored
Yeah.
of this.
Like Dave Mustaine's book was really interesting because, I mean, I love that man, but he is such a bastard.
Yeah.
So much.
Is he still bitter from the whole Metallica thing?
I think he.
I think he's
carries-
made enough money to not be.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, how could you not be?
yeah,
like-
because I mean, I've never really been into Megadeth, but I get why people love them. But they're still like, if you're him and you know what you could have been in Metallica,
Mm.
you're surely still going to be bitter. from it.
True.
Did you see when he won the Grammy for Best Metal Performance for Dystopia? The orchestra played Master of Puppets.
No way.
Fuck off.
Up to, yeah, I'm
No
fucking serious,
way.
Yeah.
By accident
they
or what?
They played a Metallica song by accident,
Yeah.
but I think it was just
It's
let's
Lars-
play a metal.
Lars,
song.
conducting.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dave.
That was 2 in time for Lars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the snare sounded too good.
He's a good friend of ours described Lars doing double bass as someone dropping a bag of oranges down some stairs.
That is excellent.
He's actually worth the most.
In Metallica.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I saw like a picture of it the other day. He's got like 350 million.
Wow.
Yeah. James was like 300 million.
Right.
I get the
While
point.
we are talking about this and their wealth, Metallica recently donated I think it was $100,000 to the
Oh yeah, the wildfire thing.
to the people who've been affected by the fire, which is a
Okay.
really nice thing to do.
Didn't know about this.
And it got posted by Loudwire or Metal Injection or something like that, and it was a Metallica donate $100,000 to this cause. All of the comments on it were, "Oh, they could have donated more," and it's like, yeah, but have you donated anything? Like,
Yeah.
what- and
That's
it's,
just one of those things where, like, anytime anyone donates anything like rich,
yeah.
then everyone's talking
And
about
that's
what?
the internet,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
just the
Yeah.
internet.
But
Yeah.
but there's also like it's not taking into account. They have the All Within My Hands Foundation, which does
Yeah.
loads of charity work. They released an acoustic EP that was all, I don't know what All Within My Hands supports, but
Yeah.
all the other charity work they're doing.
This is the thing, like, you never know what goes on behind the scenes. So these
Yeah.
people kind of commenting this stuff online really have no idea what goes on. So
No.
They just need to stum,
Yeah, it's just harsh. Like,
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
basically.
but
Yeah.
I mean,
What are you donating?
Exactly. What have you done with your life?
Yeah, exactly.
and it's like Metallica being so influential, but obviously now loads of people hate them because they're so successful. They're like,
Yeah.
oh god, like,
Well, it's after the whole Napster thing, wasn't it?
But still, who cares about that anymore?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
what
it's such a
I
long,
do.
long time ago.
do you really?
Still
No.
living around
Shut down my free music service. You
But now,
in 1999.
and now we've got
It was all just
Spotify. And it's,
porno viruses anyway.
yeah.
but it was. I mean, I get why people were mad about that, but their music is so good that I couldn't get.
Yeah, I
that
just
mad
don't.
at
I just
it.
don't
mean,
care.
This is a whole other episode, but I
Yeah.
mean, after Justice, for me, it's a no-go.
I mean, yeah, a lot of Metallica fans would agree. Black Album.
album is Load.
Mine's Lulu.
The table. I am the table.
See, I haven't heard this. Man.
Oh my
I've
God.
heard every
Lou
time
Reed, isn't it?
someone's came to Metallica online, someone just puts "I am the table," and I'm like, "What is
the table.
What is that about?"
Oh, you need to hear it. It's crazy.
Oh,
Did
wow.
they just get completely fucked up with Lou Reed and like that?
By the sounds of it.
Brilliant. That's all we've got time for on this episode of Pod Hates Us All. Hope you have a lovely week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.